Everyone is calling the 2025 Dacia Duster the undisputed king of value, but is there a hidden catch behind those rugged looks? Welcome back to Supercar. Today, we are diving deep into a car that has taken the European market by storm. The 2025 Dacia Duster is sharper, smarter, and more modern than ever before, but it isn't the perfect fit for everyone standing in a dealership today. Before we break down why this SUV might or might not be the right choice for your driveway, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community for the most honest car reviews on YouTube. It looks like a mini Hummer ready to conquer the Alps, but does that aggressive styling actually make sense for a commute in Brussels or Milan? There is no denying that the 2025 Duster is a design triumph. With its starkly recycled plastic cladding and Y-shaped light signatures, it looks more premium than its price tag suggests. However, for the European buyer who spends 90% of their time in tight city centers, the Duster's boxy proportions and high hood line can make visibility a bit of a challenge compared to sleeker crossovers. It's built for the mud, but if your off-roading is just a high curb in a shopping mall, you might find its rugged exterior more of a statement than a practical necessity. Step inside, and you will immediately notice the cool factor, but your fingers will tell a different story than your eyes. Dacia has done a brilliant job making a budget interior look tactical and modern. However, the European market is used to soft-touch plastics and premium finishes, even in the compact segment. In the 2025 Duster, you are surrounded by hard, scratchy plastics. While this is great for durability and cleaning off mud after a weekend hike, it lacks the refinement found in competitors like the Skoda Karoq or even the newer MG models. If you're coming from a Volkswagen or a Peugeot, the cabin might feel a bit hollow and noisy on long journeys. For the high-mileage drivers crossing borders on the European motorways, there is a massive diesel-shaped elephant in the room. For years, the Dacia Duster was the go-to choice for those who needed the torque and efficiency of a diesel engine. In 2025, that option is officially dead. Dacia has moved toward mild hybrids and the full hybrid 140. While the hybrid is great for city fuel economy, it doesn't quite match the effortless long-range cruising efficiency of the old 1.5 DCI. If you are a high-mileage driver in Germany or France who spends hours at 130 kilometers per hour, you might find the new petrol-focused lineup thirstier and less relaxing than the engines of the past. So, 3 cylinders and a turbocharger might sound efficient on paper, but how does that really translate to a fully loaded car on a mountain pass? The entry-level TCE 100 bifuel is honestly a budget hero, especially in places where LPG is super cheap. But let's be honest here, 100 horsepower in an SUV of this size just feels, well, sluggish. Even the TCE 130, which is kind of the sweet spot for most buyers, is still a 3-cylinder engine. Under heavy acceleration, or when you're climbing steep hills with a family and a trunk full of luggage, that engine can sound pretty strained. The vibration and noise levels are definitely higher than what you'd get from a 4-cylinder rival, which might really irritate folks looking for a smoother, more grown-up driving experience. The technology has, finally caught up to the 21st century, but don't expect a Silicon Valley experience behind the wheel. The new 10.1-inch touchscreen is a pretty massive leap forward for Dacia. It's functional, supports wireless Apple CarPlay, and it's honestly easy to use. However, the software isn't exactly the fastest on the market. There can be a noticeable lag when you're switching between menus, and the screen resolution just isn't as crisp as what you'd find in, say, a Renault or a Hyundai. It's a no-frills approach to tech, which is actually kind of refreshing for some people. But for the tech-savvy buyer who wants integrated Google Maps or high-end sound systems, the Duster's offering is still pretty basic. When it comes to protecting your family, Dacia really takes a very different philosophy than brands like Volvo or Toyota. Safety is honestly, often the most controversial topic when it comes to Dacia. The 2025 Duster is equipped with all the legally required ADAS features in Europe, like lane keep assist and emergency braking. However, Dacia famously doesn't chase 5-star Euro NCAP ratings. They argue that a lot of these electronic interventions are just annoying to drivers, and drive up the price. So, if you're a buyer who prioritizes the highest possible safety scores and the most advanced semi-autonomous driving features, the Duster's essential approach to safety might leave you feeling, well, a bit uneasy. The biggest selling point of a Dacia has always been the price, but that gap between budget and mainstream is closing faster than you think. A decade ago, the Duster had no competition because, honestly, nothing was that cheap. Today, the 2025 model has moved upmarket, and so has its price. While it is still the most affordable 4x4 in its class, the top trim versions are now creeping into the territory of the MG the Suzuki Vitara, or even lightly used premium SUVs. For a European buyer on a budget, the question is no longer, how cheap can I get a Duster, but rather, should I pay €28,000 for a Dacia or €30,000 for something more refined? The suspension is tuned for the broken roads of Eastern Europe, which is a blessing for some and, honestly, a curse for others. If you live in an area with potholes, cobblestones, or dirt tracks, the Duster's soft suspension is a dream. It soaks up bumps like a sponge. However, that softness comes at the cost of handling. On a winding country road or during a sudden lane change on the highway, there is a fair amount of body roll. It doesn't feel as planted or agile as a Ford Puma or a Cedarona. It's a comfortable cruiser, not a corner carver, and that's a trade-off every buyer needs to consider. So, after looking at the compromises, should you actually sign the papers for the new 2025 Duster? The 2025 Dacia Duster is a fantastic car for the person who values utility, rugged style, and honest engineering over soft plastics and high-speed refinement. It is perfect for the adventurer, the rural driver, and the family that wants a new car warranty without the luxury price tag. But if you want a quiet highway cruiser, a tech-heavy powerhouse, or a premium-feeling cabin, you might find yourself looking elsewhere. The Duster isn't perfect for every European buyer, and that's okay. Because for the ones it is built for, there is simply nothing else like it.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing. With